Hello everyone, this is Defense Politics Asia, and this is the summary for the day of 618 to 620. It's actually a kind of like a half of the day of 620 because it's a Sunday. There's not much intel today, so for the 3rd to the 5th of November, and so this is a bit of a weird time for me to do recording and to publish this SITREP because I'm currently busy with this tournament. This is actually a tournament that I co-organized. This has been ongoing for more than 10 years already, and it's the largest of its kind in the region for youth football. So I'm currently busy with that, so I cannot promise or guarantee I have the time to do SITREPs and reports and whatnot, which is why I want to do this SITREP out so that we don't get lagged behind by too much. So let's start off with the Southern Front. Over at the Kherson region, the Ukrainian forces continue to hold a position within Kreminna, and the Russian forces still have no idea how to eject them out. The reason because why they are unable to eject these Ukrainian forces is, firstly, they are resupplying into Kreminna, but another thing is that every time the Russians try to push, they get encountered by heavy artillery and drone attack. So despite the Ukrainians only have probably a few houses in Kreminna region, the Russians actually have no way to eject them without suffering heavy casualties. And we do have geolocations of casualties, Russian troops getting hit by grenades dropping from drones, and there are also previous geolocations of Russian forces losing their life. The Russians, however, continue to fight at Kreminna, as per reported by Ryba, and even by the Russian Defense Ministry by the 5th of November in the 5th of November report, which is usually reporting about the previous day, and so which means this fighting here has become quite significant for the Russian Defense Ministry, that they actually talked about it, and of significance, they actually acknowledge that the Ukrainian Marines are here, and then they are currently trying to eject. And if I'm not wrong, the Russians Marines are here as well. So let's see how this goes. This battle is still ongoing. As I said, the Ukrainians are really good at defending. So they are actually defending really well over there. There is further geolocations towards the west by Kreminna Caprice. So this is Ukrainian forces that is geolocated at this position under fire by the Russians in the north of Stepney, which continue to confirm that the Ukrainian forces have this beachhead along in the northern side. This continues to be another of this mosquito bite for the Russians, as the Ukrainians can actually attack Kozachi Lahiri or towards Pistepny at any time they want. So furthermore, the border around the Dachi region is going along the Konka River. I believe I've changed this mapping. I may or may not have told you that. And the Russians, along with the attack towards Kreminna, they also mentioned about Vasily. So they are actually, Vasily, clearly they can't be doing assaults at Vasily, so they are actually doing shelling and airstrike against the Ukrainian forces that's gathering around this region here. I think the significance of actually mentioning this by the Russian Defense Ministry could also mean that there is a significant gathering of Ukrainian forces over here, and perhaps the Ukrainian forces might want to start a new front to attack Nova Kakhovka. The Ukrainian forces previously did try to conquer this island over here, just opposite of Nova Kakhovka. They have been stopped by the Russian forces that refused to allow them to this island, and they had fought along this area here. And so far, the last that we know is that it is a stalemate. So let's see how this goes. The Ukrainian forces definitely is exploring how to they break out from this beachhead. Tentatively, the Russians are keeping them at bay. Moving into the Zaporizhzhia Front. At the Zaporizhzhia Front, this is the Zaporizhzhia Front. At the Zaporizhzhia Front, at the Orikhiv sector, this is Orikhiv, and this is the Orikhiv sector. The Ukrainian forces seems to have rejuvenated themselves a bit, and there is fighting reported at Verbove on the 5th, and there is also fighting reported on the 4th and the 5th. According to the Russian Defense Ministry, the Ukrainians are attacking. The Russians are no longer attacking over at the Verbove region. The counter-offensive currently stopped. We do have the Russians attacking on the 3rd. So after the 3rd, according to the Ukrainian Defense Ministry, where the Russians attacked and failed, then the Ukrainians went into the offensive or counter-offensive or counter-offensive, depending on when you start to watch these things. And geolocation of Ukrainian forces just at Robotine continue to show that the Ukrainian forces are here, but they are actually still under fire, by the Russian forces. And further geolocation in the northwestern part of Verbove, this is geolocation by Kreminna show that the Ukrainian forces have actually managed to push a bit in this area here, and however, it's not very significant. This is still, there's a lot of farmlands to go. So let's see how this goes as we move on from this front line. There's geolocation just south of Orikhiv by Kreminna which show the FPV drone attacking Ukrainian armor. So which means that yeah, it's not very safe. Even it seems to be quite far away from the front line, around 3-4 kilometers. So the range of the FPV drones all these suicide drones are getting a bit far. Moving on away from the this sector, we go into Huyaipole sector, or Huyaipo, or depending on how you pronounce this. And at Huyaipole, we have a geolocation of Ukrainian forces getting hit by the TOS-1A flamethrower system. Just south of Chervone, Russian forces are geolocated just south of the river, which means that they are still holding this position very strongly. The Ukrainians are holding Chervone over here. There is a report by the Russian Defense Ministry on the 4th of November where the Ukrainian forces attacked Mafopil. So this is a one-off. We haven't seen anything talked about on the 5th, at least no, not yet. Maybe we'll see it tomorrow. But this is a one-off attack. There's only repelled one attack. This one attack was actually defended by units supported by helicopters and artillery. So yeah, so the Russians actually also have helicopters in this region here. So that's probably very disturbing for the Ukrainian forces operating, which why are there so many helicopters running over the place. Over at Velyka, Novosilka. At the Velyka Novosilka sector, the Russians continue to be on the offensive in this region here, with fighting reported at Staromayoske, Uruzaine, in the north of Prione, and actually there is this report attacking in the area of Makarivka. This report is by the Russian Defense Ministry, where they report that the units supported by artillery disrupted rotation as well as delivery of ammunition near Makarivka. So I'm not sure if there is a change of the front line that makes them want to quote this location. So we shall see if this is actually a thing with further reports from other OSINs and mappings. Ukrainian forces is geolocated just south of Levadne, which actually reduces the Russian front line that was previously much nearer to Levadne. And the Russian forces is geolocated around here, which continue to affirm our front line is pretty much more or less there. And that's all from the Velyka Novosilka sector. We move into the Donetsk Front. So this is the Donetsk Front. At the Donetsk Front, we have fighting reported in the Voleda region. This is Voleda. With the Russians reportedly attacked on the 4th in the north of Mikhailske, according to the Russian Defense Ministry, whereas the Ukrainians counterattack on the 5th. The attack is by the 72nd Mechanized of the Ukrainian Armed Forces. Whoops, sorry, my computer is a bit laggy right now. So the Russians were attacking, and then the Ukrainians counterattack. Geolocation of Russian forces at Mikhailske. So just to confirm that they are there. The situation over here continues to be very mysterious. Ukrainian forces definitely have firm control over Velyka, and the Russians seems to be very interested in Vodian. There is all these reports about them pushing towards Vodian direction, but they are not anywhere even near this highway. So yeah, so let's not get too excited if you are pro-Russia. Over in the Novosilka region, there is fighting reported at Novosilka, with the Russians being reported to have attacked in the region near Solotki, which is over here. Over here, probably in this direction, and there is fighting reported in the direction of Novosilka, according to the Ukrainian Defense Ministry and the Russian Defense Ministry, from the 3rd and the 4th. So they are attacking in this way, and the Ukrainians were counter-attacking on the 5th. So the situation here continued to be pretty tense. Ukrainian forces geolocated within Novosilka, nothing surprising, but just to show that they are there. And Marinka continues to be the scene of continued Russian push on the 3rd and the 4th, according to the Ukrainian Defense Ministry, with no clear updates. I have someone ask me whether Marinka is captured based on some Russian reports or something. So far, I didn't see anything that seems to suggest that. Over at the Avdiivka Front. So this is Avdiivka city, this is Avdiivka Front, and this is not your toll. Okay, so over at this Avdiivka Front, the Russians continue their Avdiivka offensive with fighting reported towards Stepove, over the south towards Avdiivka, from Spartak towards Khimik, and Zhivany, Tonenke, and at Povomaisky. So currently this is what it looks like, with Ukrainian forces counter-attacking at Krasnohorivka, and there's multiple geolocation in the south of Avdiivka and along the front line of along the Krasnohorivka and Stepove front line. So this front line here is you can see a lot of geolocation of Russian forces attacking this little flattened village region, and there is geolocation of Russian forces around here. They are supposedly pushing for Stepove, whereas Ukrainian Leopard tank, I believe, was geolocated over here. So yeah, it's a Leopard tank that was destroyed by another Lancet. So another Leopard tank, another destroyed by Lancet, is going to be very difficult, because I think the Russians have a lot of Lancet being produced, and definitely there is way more Lancet suicide drones than Ukrainians have Leopard tanks. So this is not going to end well. And usually I would not believe that the Russians will launch a Lancet first. I believe they will launch a FPV to hunt for the Leopards, then they sent in the Lancet, which is probably more cost effective. And if the FPV drones, maybe the FPV drone can straight away go into suicide mode, and if it doesn't kill the Leopard tank, the Lancet will just follow up. And so far, that is actually what I understood from the Russian doctrine nowadays, where once they spot a single tank, they will hit it with multiple type of drones and then artillery. So like, for example, they will hit it with 2 or 3 FPV drones, and then they will go, and if it's still not taken out, they will go with Lancet, and then if it's still not, they will start to launch artillery. So no, artillery is no longer the first choice by the Russian side. They're going away from the culture and heritage of the Soviet army. So disappointing. Anyway, Ryba reported this Ukrainian attack in the northwest of Krasnohorivka, saying that they did manage to recapture some part of this railway. This is very intense front line, so I'm not sure how far or how much they actually captured. So let's just wait and see. So moving on from the Avdiivka front, there's nothing over at the New York front, with the Ukrainians no longer talk about Pivdeny. If they don't talk about Pivdeny, then probably nothing is happening there. So Bakhmut front. So this is Bakhmut city. In the southern part of Bakhmut front, the Russian forces continue to be on the main offensive, with fighting reported at Kodyumivka, Andriivka, and Klishevka, and the Russians are on the offensive in this region here. The Ukrainians reporting returned the wording in their sentence about conducting assault operation in the Bakhmut Front, in the South Bakhmut Front, and somehow I have no reports of them actually doing the assault. All the reports are actually mainly the Russians attacking, even the Ukrainian Defense Ministry's version. So there's fighting report at Kreminna on the 4th, Avdiivka on the 4th, and then Klishevka on the 3rd, 4th, and 5th. As you can see, Ukrainian Defense Ministry, they said the Russians tried to restore lost position, and then they continue to say the same thing. The Russians did say that they are attacking Ukrainian units over on the 3rd and the 4th and the 5th. So the situation here is pretty much Russians in the initiative. However, the front line did not really change, as Ukrainian is geolocated just off south of Avdiivka along the railway line. So that continues to show that the Ukrainians have not lost position. Russian forces is geolocated east of Klishevka, where they actually got shelled by the Ukrainian artillery over this place, and there is an attack towards Ivanivsky. So this Ivanivsky, and apparently there is an attack. According to the Russian Defense Ministry on the 5th November's report, they talked about an attack towards Krasnoye, which is actually Ivanivsky, attacking Ukrainians 10 Mountain Brigade. Okay, sorry, a lot of them. 28th, 54th Mechanized, 10 Mountain, and also 112 in multiple locations. So I'm not sure who is actually at Ivanivsky, but they actually basically do some fire mission and attacks against Ukrainian forces in the area of Ivanivsky. In the north, the Russians are also on the offensive. Reports of Russians attacking Kromove was reported, as well as Bodanivka. However, Russian Defense Ministry also mentioned the Ukrainians were attacking Bodanivka. So the Russians say on the 5th that the Ukrainians are attacking, but 3rd and 4th, the Ukrainians say that the Russians are attacking, and the Ukrainians also say they are attacking Kromove. So let's see how this goes. Maybe the Russians will also say the Ukrainians are attacking Bodanivka, so then there will be a big battle happening over here. And geolocation of Ukrainian forces on at this position on the 3rd, geolocated on the 3rd, which actually adjusted the front line, which means the Ukrainians actually at some point recaptured this position. Previously, it's believed that the Russians have actually taken this position, but the geolocation actually shows that the Ukrainians have actually managed to recapture this front line. However, this is not a good geolocation for the Ukrainians, because they are actually getting shelled in the trenches. So let's see how this goes. Further up north, there is geolocation of Ukrainian forces just off Orikhiv, Velyka. Didn't change front line, so not important. And a very northern edge in the southern part of the Siversk Front. So this is Siversk Front, and we have Russians reportedly attacking Vasyukivka as well as Rodolivka. This is reported by the Russian Defense Ministry of them pushing Vasyukivka and Rodolivka. So we shall see whether this is a sustained attack. We haven't seen a Russian attack for some time already, since the 21st of October for Rozdolivka, and 26th of October since for Vasyukivka. Why am I keep zooming in? So anyway, so this is the situation over here. Let's see how this goes. Then we have some interesting report in the Siversk Front by the Ukrainian Defense Ministry. They reported Russians attacking Spurny on the 4th and Verkhnokonyamsky on the 3rd. So the Russians apparently were probing around this area here, but there is a main attack actually over at Bilohorivka region. This is one place that we haven't seen an attack for quite some time. You see, 3rd, 21st is really not a sustained thing, and on the 4th again is a raid. So let's see tomorrow if the Ukrainian Defense Ministry reports more about Bilohorivka. Currently, the last report is for the 4th. So this is the Russians attacking in this direction. I wonder if this is the beginning. This is a probing stage, where then they start a major push towards Siversk. Maybe not. Siversk has been a really good stronghold for the Ukrainians, and I believe that the Russians really want them to keep this salient here. So they have to continue to stretch their logistic to defend this area here. So over at the Kreminna Front, this is Kreminna. At the Kreminna Front, there is fighting reported at Orikhiv, according to the Russian Defense Ministry. 4th to 5th of November, they mentioned fighting in the area of Grigorovka, which is actually Orikhiv, over here. But clearly, the fighting is not around here. This is unlikely to be the place. The fighting is likely to be within the Serebrentsky forestry region or along the Siversk Donetsk River region. So we shall wait and see what is this actually all about. Every time we see Orikhiv is very confusing. We move on. There's nothing much over at the Kreminna Front. There is only geolocation of Ukrainian forces within Makiivka, but no, there's no fighting being reported around here. Over at the Svatove Front, situation also very quiet. Only some fighting reported at Stemakivka on the 3rd of November, and but that's all we know of this area here in Svatove. We move into the Kupyansk Front. This is the Kupyansk and the Kupyansk Front. At the Kupyansk Front, the Russians seemingly continue to be attacking in this region. Again, it's going to be these two vector through Sinkivka and Ivanivka region, with the Ukrainians counter-attacking in the north of Tinkovka as well as at Sinkivka. So this is the situation. The fighting dated 3rd and 4th for Ivanivka and 3rd and 4th for Sinkivka, as per reported by the Ukrainian Defense Ministry. For the Timkovka, the Russian Defense Ministry said on the 4th the Ukrainians were attacking north of Tinkovka, and at Sinkivka it was reported by the Russian Defense Ministry for 3rd, 4th and 5th. The Russian Defense Ministry actually mentioned the Ukrainians were attacking here. So information seems to be very vague around this area here. It seems like even the OSIN do not know much about this, as we don't see much information from the OSIN about this front line. So let's see how this goes. And this is a good 2 days, I think, for the Ukrainians. No planes getting shot down, or either that they have run out of planes. Either way, thank you for watching. Do press the like button, subscribe, and yeah, and hopefully I will be able to continue to make time to do more reports and do the mapping, and not delay for too many days. And I'll see you in the next update.